That shit was gold. Here it comes. 1, 3, 2. Which way am I going? 3, 2, 1. There's my audio clap. Read
all about it. Read all about it. Where am I? Where the fuck am I? Tacoma. Took me a minute.
I actually did not know where you were.
Jesus Christ. You don't understand. I've been on the road since December 5th. Okay. Like, I would say 3 out of 4 weekends since December 5th. And I woke up this morning, and it took me a good 30 seconds to remember where the fuck I was.
It probably took you longer to remember who you are because you're like, I am not wearing maroon.
That's right. It's like the first time you saw Gretzky skating for the LA Kings.
Yeah. I'm taking an Adderall now. We'll see how that goes. You can tell me as you
Why
usually do.
Why do you take it when we start the show? You should take it a half hour before we start the show.
I like peeking right when we say take it each.
Oh.
Yeah, because I don't want to peek for this. Well, if I can waste my time.
I went down to the hotel dining room, and I had at least 3 cups of coffee.
Oh, wow. Well, I had thought of a funny thing. So when I went in for my
wait a minute. I forgot to plug my headphones in. Hold on.
Oh, Lord. Did we lose all this gold?
No, it's just...
Oh, you sound nice now.
There we go. Now that's better. No, it's just our crack producer, Chris Denman, it's his only job. It's literally the only reason he's on this call is to make sure we have our headphones in when we start the Zoom.
I don't know. He had a tough week. Things didn't go as well as he wanted in Buffalo. So, no, too soon. Horrible.
God.
Which we'll get to that story. So, I had a thought, though. So, when I have messed it up once. I know it sounds like a bad sick, like a Three's Company, but whatever. I have the 2 prescription bottles in my bathroom drawer, and it's Ambien and Adderall. So it is really the blue pill and the red pill. And so, I have to really be careful of which one I take, obviously. But I thought it could be fun if you and I maybe did some experimental podcasts where at the beginning, I take an Adderall and you take an Ambien. And then the next one, we switch it and we see, because our thing is helping each other's energy. So we would watch how that unfolds. I like that idea.
I think I've told this story, I'm sure, but I was the showrunner for the New Year's Eve show with Carson Daly on NBC one year.
Oh, yeah. No, you have definitely told this for sure.
Should I not tell it again?
Maybe the fastest nugget, because I think you've told it twice.
The fastest nugget was we worked for months, and then here it is, New Year's Eve. I wake up, I got my pill box, and I did exactly that. I took the fucking Ambien instead of the Adderall. Yeah. And meanwhile, we had to shoot a sketch that day. We had to rewrite the script because we forgot to put in all the throws to commercial, and I fucking swallowed it, and then I realized. As it went down, literally as I'm gulping it down, I'm like, fuck, that was an Ambien.
I would have made myself throw up immediately.
I tried to make myself throw up for 20 minutes, and for some reason, all that came up was water. No Ambien came up. And somehow, just through pure fear of failure, I stayed awake the entire day up until midnight and pulled off another outstanding example of Carson Daly's talent. It was
I told
great.
you 2 or 3 trips ago to New York land. And here's the funny thing is when you're taking an Adderall, that means you are already too tired in your estimation to, do everything the way you want to do it. So that's why you're taking it. And I popped an Ambien instead. Now I take baby stuff because drugs really affect me. So I take a 5 milligram. Actually, they're 5 milligrams of both, which are real as look who I'm talking to. Those are baby doses. So thank God the Ambien that I popped in my mouth before running around Manhattan having fun, which is why I was going to take this Adderall after my flight. So it turned into muscling through it. I should have followed it with, maybe I did follow it with an Adderall. but I popped an Ambien, and all I can tell you is it was blurry fun. That's all I got.
Yeah.
I muscled through it, but you do a little bit of time traveling for sure.
Yeah. Well, we have a friend, I won't mention his name, but he put me in touch. We were at, you were there at, what's the burger place in Venice that we went to, the bar?
Hanano.
Hanano. We're at Hanano, and then he goes, hey, I got this friend who sells like packaged, manufactured doses of psilocybin capsules from Colorado. They're like medicinal. They're like fucking like they're not FDA approved, but they might as well be. So he goes, do you want some? So I bought a whole fucking jar of capsules of mushrooms, and I'm going to microdose starting on Monday. Every 3 days, I'm going to take a microdose and see how it affects my depression.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many doses did you buy?
I think like 30.
I'm in. Let me find that dealer or whatever's going on.
She's great.
Oh, no, it's a she. We're learning more and more about this dealer. Okay.
And she knows nothing about the drugs. You know, usually like drug dealers are like, in Tarantino's movie Pulp Fiction. Why did I have to say Tarantino's movie? Did we not know it was?
Yeah.
She, like that dealer, who played the dealer in that?
Yeah. Stoltz?
Yeah, Eric Stoltz. And like he's the expert in everything. This woman knew absolutely nothing about the drugs that she was selling us. I was like, how much should I take? She's like, I don't know. I think it says it on the bottle. I go, well, is it a microdose? Well, I'm not really. It was like, where did you get these? So I trust her.
Did
Somehow
she find a back? It sounds like she found a backpack.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, you got a little category here, top of show, and you have written in there alone all week.
I was alone all week.
Okay, should we move on to the next topic?
Let's do the next one now. Erin went back to the Bronx to take care of her aunt.
Oh,
Aunt
yeah,
Joe,
that
who's
story.
94 and is hanging on by a thread. And I had the week alone in the house, and it was lonely. It was really lonely, but in like a really good way. There was no kids, no wife. The fucking NHL playoffs are on, and I would just sit on the couch undisturbed and watch hockey for hours on end. And
Sounds like a nightmare, but go ahead.
Oh, you don't like hockey?
Well, I mean, I'm just thinking what you could do with your time.
I know. I didn't really attack.
Go,
Yeah.
Whatever. But okay, you sat on the couch and watched hockey.
I went and played golf. We went out to Canyon Ranch,
Maybe.
which you got to play
know.
sometime with Bobby Tisdale and
Oh,
Gibbons.
nice.
And your friend Britt.
Oh, he played too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I brought Britt into the fold. He and I met at VH1 in the roaring 90s.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Very funny guy. Dry, really dry.
Yeah.
Is he still overweight?
He is very overweight.
He played football at Colgate.
Yeah, he has beautiful calves. That's the thing about him. He has like the most defined, like rippled calves you've ever seen.
And if I may, there's sort of, no, this will get me in trouble. I have a theory that more often than not, Asian men have extraordinary calves.
They do, especially
you.
Koreans. Yeah.
Well, I didn't go there, but hi, daughter. And so they always come in on they think I have Asian hate. It's not true at all, though. No, they do. I'm like, wow, look at those calves. Those are powerful.
Yeah. He has great calves.
No, I mean Asians. But Brit, though, was in shape and all this. But anyway, no one's harder on himself for eating too much than Brit himself. So, yeah. But he's a great guy. Really funny.
And Gibbons was incredibly well behaved.
Wow.
I think thanks to taking upwards of 150 milligrams of edibles while we were out there.
That sometimes backfires. Well, last night, so today's Saturday. Last night he wanted to watch Golden State. That's his team, the Warriors. And so all you have to do is be like, maybe. I'm like, well, what TVs do you plan to scream at tonight? And he's like, I don't know. I was thinking Penmar. Like, doesn't even blink. It's all the refs' fault. No matter
what a fucking game, huh? Big comeback.
I didn't watch it, but I watched the end of Ozark with Sophie last night, which we'll get to in entertainment. So, but F you, Ozark. But I saw that they were down a lot and came back.
They were down by 20 and they won by like a dozen points. It was fucking great second half.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, so what do you got here? Grocery list text. What does that mean?
Oh, just I don't know if I show this to you. So here's Sophie's I read a grocery list and people were amused by it. So I said, hey, listen, I'm going to Trader Joe's on the way home or whatever. Do you want something? So Sophie pops up this list.
Whoa.
Okay? Right. It's arugula, turkey bacon, sliced turkey, hummus, Italian salad, Brussels sprouts, gluten-free hamburger. It goes on, right? It's like the healthiest thing ever. And anyway, it goes on, and Olivia's just simply texts after it, Jesus Christ, you're high maintenance. So that's the daughters. I have Sophie back, and while it's the most wonderful, great thing in the world, having both of it reminds me of the pandemic. I'm having flashbacks to not pandemic, like lockdown.
Yeah.
Where no matter where you are, it's too crowded if there's two teenagers there.
And you've got them all week? You had them this past week?
The whole time, and their fighting is back. It's just like it was, and there's a disruption in the force. That's kind of what goes on, and I'm sure a lot of parents can relate. Like when the kid comes home, and she's off so early from Michigan. She's like, Jesus, like none of my friends are here, so she's been like going to see them and stuff like that. But none of her college friends are back.
Did you find her a job yet?
She's found some jobs, and she's picked up also some house sitting drive, whatever.
Oh,
because she's going to Europe. Yeah. Anyway,
she's going to Europe.
But all right. So according to her, hold on. According to her, she's gotten like straight A's at Michigan. She's fucking useless. She's here twice. I have been like, oh, hold on here. I'll text you the answer, and I just text her the link to Google. Because all she's doing is asking me shit anyone can find out. Like, Dad, I don't know. How does this work? What channel is that thing on? Just no effort.
No. Last week, I send JoJo letters at college. I just send her letters sometimes. And I always include, those little cookies that you get on flights? They're like biscotti cookies.
Oh, good. You send her free stuff that you don't want. Okay.
I send her one of those in each letter because she loves those. So she says to me, Dad, I wrote you a letter, but I don't know how to mail it.
Right.
And I'm like, what? Like she literally does not know where the stamp goes, where the return address goes. How about this? Where the mailbox is. I had to go online and look up Mailbox Finder and put in her address and tell her that it was a block from her house.
Well, I think we're all having trouble finding places to mail stuff. I mean, that is happening. Just so people don't freak out on me, it is your internet that absolutely stinks.
Oh, and is it freezing?
It froze a little during that story, thank God, because I didn't want to hear all of it. But so if I'm stuttering, it's because you're ingesting this video Zoom, and it's your fault.
Yeah, this hotel that I'm in has shit Wi-Fi.
Bunker I'm in.
Yeah, it has shit Wi-Fi.
All right, what other small talk do I have in here? Have you ever heard of the concept radical honesty? I remember a psychiatrist telling me about that one.
It sounds a lot like how Gwyneth Paltrow divorced. What did they call their divorce? A conscious uncoupling?
Well, I can't. Yeah, Olivia was over at that house last night, so I have to watch what I say about that. But yes, conscious uncoupling. Yeah. So anyway, kids had a party over there. So, but no, radical honesty is literally just not being afraid. And if it's the end of a relationship or it's a friendship and you have something hard to say, but it's so funny as I sat there, and I think you might be able to relate. I wanted to say to the guy, this isn't recent, but for some reason I read about radical honesty this week. And I'm like, to me, like all honesty is radical. Not because I'm a liar. It's just, I'll avoid uncomfortable. Like even in a restaurant, like, how's your meal? It's like, this would for me be radical honesty. Like it's okay. Yeah. Like that would be radical honesty. Right. Instead, I'm just like, fine, it's doable. Like this is not a thing.
Yeah.
Not a thing. Just move on. I'm not going to trouble you with this.
Yeah. Yeah. So radical honesty is what?
Radical, I mean, we could look it up, but I think radical honesty is like, this is how this is making me feel right now. I feel like we have an issue. Like, it's just being incredibly honest.
And do you think that's a good thing?
The people who have coined this phrase do. They think radical honesty is incredibly productive and that the people hearing it will actually appreciate it. I probably have a lot of that wrong. I didn't look it up before this podcast. I did just remember that I had the funny thought that all honesty to me, even the slightest, is radical.
I've never met anybody who avoids conflict as much as you do, while also stirring the pot. It's like...
Maybe that's my way to counterbalance it. I don't know. Yeah. Right. Well, usually the stirring the pot is a group. I wouldn't do a one-on-one, probably.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I had just a thought where, has it occurred to you, I'm starting to think that COVID might kill all humans. And we are in the golden age of thinking this is passing. And then we will look back 3 years from now and be like, remember the third wave? Like that wasn't that contagious. Remember that? Remember those days when we're like rich people are just on boats to islands and everyone else is giving up?
Well, it's almost like, I can tell you, I've been talking about it on stage. I'm like, it's so great that COVID is over, isn't it? Yeah, it's not. It's not over. We have decided it's over because we have fatigue and there's a new variant out. You know what it's called? No, neither do I. Nobody does because we're ignoring it. And if you die in 2022, we're not going to the funeral. You should have died in 2020 when everybody else did. We're fucking over it. We've moved on. Meanwhile, they're saying the fall could be brutal, right?
Yes, I've been planning on that. I was going to delay my fourth shot, I guess, the second booster, till like August. But then I got the goddamn thing. And listen, I remember coming on here, and of course it made me feel good hearing how many other, like in other words, it's flattering to me to think, you know what finally brought you down, big guy, was the most contagious strain ever. It turns out I'm right. This is the most people I've ever known with it.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And almost 100% manageable, and mild, but also everyone I know is vaccinated.
It is. I felt like we were in this bubble in Los Angeles because people are very safe or have been very safe up until recently. And then you're right. Absolutely. I would say 90% of the people that I know that got it in the last 2 months.
Yep. And I guess it has a very keen way of getting people, even though vaccinated, who haven't had the virus yet. I think that's one thing. Maybe I'm wrong. But I'll tell you, so I had it on Easter, as the listeners will know, and a month ago, and I'm still congested. It's weird. I mean, I know there's these winds and everyone's talking about that, but I don't think I have more fog than usual. You know what's a good barometer? Now I am an 80-year-old person, but like I'll do those timed New York Times mini crosswords that are timed, or Wordle. We all compare our Wordle scores.
I got 2 out of 6 today.
Oh my God, I was 1 letter away from 2 out of 6, and I got 3 out of 6. Look at us.
There we are.
If half the people didn't just turn this off, I don't respect them. All right, anyway, everyone's going to die of COVID. That's my last little thought up top.
Shout out on the logo this week, Craig Goodette, who does fine work for us on a regular basis. Pulled this one out of
I don't like
Anchorman. Because you're the woman?
I mostly don't like it because you look exactly like Geraldo Rivera.
Yes.
I mean, look at it.
I know. It's a little clunky, but that's what makes it funny.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not even the clunkiness that did it. I think it's your strong chin thing. Well, that mustache, of course, is the number one thing.
Right.
But it is definitely Geraldo Rivera vibes, and I don't even know what I look like.
You look a little bit like Helen Hunt.
Well, whatever I am, no one can make fun of it because of how I'm identifying. Look at those collars on me, though.
Oh, my God. I had this...
I'm the woman for the listeners involved here in Anchorman, right?
Anchorman. And I
had the woman
on
on the right.
this kind of beautiful thing happened last night on my show, on The Late Show. There's a couple, and they're with their daughter, and she looks like she's in her 20s, and they are of Indian descent. And I go, oh, is this your daughter? And then she says yes, and he says, no, it's my child. And I said, oh, isn't child mean daughter? And he goes, non-binary. And he said it, and she was shaking her head like, no, it's okay, Dad. But he stood up and he didn't stand up, but I mean, he stood up for her. He made that point. It was kind of beautiful because he had an Indian accent. It was like a recent immigrant to this country. And you think about that culture that this family comes from and how difficult it must have been for them to wrap their heads around this. And yet he very much, it was really kind of nice. And so I shit all over them.
I was going to say, I hope so. The number one cause of non-binary children is overbearing dads. Hey, Dad, good luck arranging that marriage.
We're like, yeah, if I was born into an Indian family, I'd switch to guy also.
Yes. At least non-woman. At least half at most. Maybe sometimes.
I'm surprised half the country hasn't switched over.
Exactly. Wait, this is an option? Don't I get an immediate raise?
Do I go up one of the levels in that? Can I be a Brahmin now?
Yeah, I can imagine the dad did not have to take the stand in a comedy club, never mind a public place.
Yeah. No, it was very nice.
No, honey, I got this. Like, Dad, please, please.
Yes. Dad, I only told you guys I'm non-binary, so you get off my fucking back.
Yeah.
I'm not really a non-binary.
In the parking lot, she's desperately trying to claw off this bumper sticker. I'm a proud parent of a binary child.
She's peeling the red dot off her forehead.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And on the street, honey, good news. You get to walk up with the humans who are male. You don't have to walk 20 feet behind like livestock.
Yeah. This week's song was brought to us by Les Conley. Fine work. Thank you. He or she, I don't really know. I don't know what Les is. Could be either.
Maybe they identify as either.
Well, we'll call
less
them Thon.
Less is more.
Thon sent us, as the Charlie Kaufman book identifies people as Thon. Thon sent us a couple songs, so we'll do another one next week.
I'm going to download that on Audible for sure.
Yes. Dave G said, we're in the correction section now. Dave G said, I've never been able to find anything to correct you and Mike about, but this week you said something that I'm sure other people will comment on. You said you flew over Bear Island, which has the largest population of, quote, black bears, but it actually has the largest population of brown grizzly bears, which I strangely know from watching a ton of nature shows. I got 7 emails about this. This is apparently a pretty well-known island.
What he left out was this is the first show he's ever listened to. So he has a correction on his first show. He's never been able to correct us before because he never listened.
Right.
Oh, so get this. I looked up bears, right? I was wondering, because black bears are so common. It turns out they're the smartest bear in North America. And it's the most popular bear in Alaska, which I don't know if I would have known that. Anyway, so it says Alaska has these bears, right? It has black bears, which is Ursus americanus, which is the American bear. Then brown bears are Ursus arctos, and this is what I wanted to get to. Grizzly bears, which are technically a form of brown bear. So brown bear, Ursus arctos. Grizzly bears are Ursus arctos horribilis. Horribilis. So even the Latins it's almost like a Latin 14-year-old named this. No, that's the horribilis one. And I looked up horribilis. It's neuter. It's obviously it's horrible. It's horrible, horribilor, horribilismus, blah 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 blah. And related horrendous, but it's just like even they weren't even that scientific anymore. Like, no, that one's the badass. That one's scary. We're just called that scary. What's scary in Latin? That's exactly what they did.
Right. Shit in the pantses.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'll skip Seth. Seth was another guy that had a lot of information about Bears. Sam, as a lifelong Buffalo Bills fan, I must put some respect in both of your mouths. You claimed you were big fans of the Bills, but then went on to a 10-minute tirade about how the New York teams are in the bottom 10 of the NFL. Correction, the New Jersey teams are in the bottom 10. The only team in New York is Super Bowl bound. You basically said Putin was Ukrainian. Shame.
I agree with Sam. I told you in a sense, well, I was in public relations in New York, really hating my job, and I'd sit there at my desk kind of like not working. And the Bills beat the Giants beat the Bills. And was it Norton? I'm trying to get the kicker who missed the field goal, I think, or extra point, probably field goal. Scott was his name, maybe. He missed it to win the Super Bowl. And then that week, it was during the week, New York had a parade. Nobody showed up for the Giants parade. And Scott Norwood, that's it. And thank you, Chris. And Buffalo had a parade, and the whole fucking city showed up for the losing team. And I wrote Scott Norwood a letter. And I just let him know, like, he did something impressive also. Like, he did something like...
Wait, he's the guy that lost the game for the Giants?
Totally lost the game.
Okay.
I mean...
And you wrote him a letter and you just said, I kind of relate to you?
No, Greg, I didn't say that. I said... no, but I mentioned something he did, like he got upset, and I just wanted to, kind of say like he had more heart. Anyway, he didn't write me back, so I hate that fucking guy, Scott Norwood, and I'm glad he missed.
By the way, did you see the Rams Super Bowl victory parade in L.A. this year?
No, I could barely watch them win the Super Bowl.
There was like 9 people in the street, and they were mostly collecting cans from trash cans. It was the most pathetic Super Bowl parade you've ever seen in your life.
In the most pathetic city, arguably on earth, but okay.
You hate LA?
It's not a city. We've been over this a bazillion times, and I don't know what's going to happen first. We're going to realize there's no water here, and the giant General Electric pumps are going to fucking stop working in the dam, or somehow just a longer drought. We won't be able to even steal water from the north. Or the earthquake. It's a race to what's going to remind this city it's sand. It's a desert, and we shouldn't be here.
Yeah. And that's why it's not even a city. It's a suburb looking for a city. You just keep looking for the center of it. Where is it? Where's downtown? That's downtown? It's 9 buildings. 3,000
small, ugly strip malls. That's what this city is when you drive around.
Right.
Right, this is uplifting.
Lucia Ribeiro, who writes us often.
I like the name.
Says, speaking of trace amounts, a few weeks back you gave an example. 2 milligrams of fentanyl. If I read it right, it's actually only 2 micrograms of fentanyl that can be the lethal amount. That's just a few grains. It's literally like, if you look at the grains, it's like 5 or 6 little tiny grains.
No, it sounds like 2 milligrams could like take out Idaho. Yeah.
Right. So don't fuck around.
Hey, what do you do? What are you doing, man? How's your stand-up?
Are you leading me into my days? Well, it's really peaking.
I know, because this is what happened. I was like, speaking of just a few grains, I'm sprinkling some comedy in Irvine on May. Like, I was wondering what the transition was going to be.
Speaking of people losing consciousness, I'll be in Irvine on May 27th through the 29th at the Improv. And then Bakersfield, California at the Well on June 11th. And then I think I'm in Fresno on June 10th now. I don't know the name of the place. You guys
figure it out. The day before Bakersfield. Well, that makes sense.
Day before Bakersfield. Oh, and you might come up to Bakersfield. We have to look into that still.
Yeah, their calendar. I did go on. I did remember that. An odd follow-up with me, a follow-through. And their calendar, oddly, didn't go that far, but that was like a month ago. So, yeah, let me look into it. I want to go up and hear that Bakersfield sound in Buck Owens Place.
But when we get back from that trip, it'll be Sunday, which means, of course, that's the day. And I say day, meaning that's it, that I fertilize my lawn. It's so simple. I use Sunday's lawn care products. It's quick and easy. Don't have to go to a store. It comes to my door.
No brainer.
And it's like I have dogs. My dogs can safely go and chew the grass, and I don't have to worry about them getting horrible chemicals because Sunday uses like seaweed, iron, molasses. I think chicken bones. No chicken bones. So anyway, if your lawn has weeds, bare patches, pet spots, they can solve all this for you. It's just like a pouch. It comes in the mail. You stick it onto your hose, and boom, you're done in 15 minutes once a week.
Boom.
My lawn is looking better than ever, and I did it myself. Sunday makes it easy to DIY your lawn with no guesswork, no unwanted chemicals. Your lawn is your oasis. So go to Sunday.com, put in your address, and their lawn analysis tool does the rest. They understand about your climate, about your soil, and so just get involved. Sunday is offering our listeners 20% off.
Done.
Get full season plans starting at $129 for the whole season, and you get 20% off when you visit getsunday.com/papers at checkout. That's 20% off custom plan at getsunday.com/papers.
Years ago, I got it for my mom, Mother's Day, and now my view is I don't have to get her Mother's Day gifts anymore because I'm like, look at how your lawn's doing. This is the gift that keeps on giving. You're welcome again.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
And while you're out there working on the lawn, your eyes sometimes, you get a little sun in them, don't you? That's why.
Surely here.
That's why Shady Rays has come along. Oh, boy. It's an independent sunglass company that offers world-class product as good as any expensive pair that I've ever worn. Durable frames, extremely clear polarized lenses. That's not all. They also have the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by lost and broken replacements.
That's the key.
It's crazy that they do this, but I don't know how they're not going out of business.
Oh,
if you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. Sometimes you return something, they start asking you questions. I don't want questions. This is no questions asked.
Yeah. I just want to jet ski into a wave so hard my face smashes on the front. And then I call these guys. I already have enough problems. Just send me a new pair, please.
Why do I play roller hockey with no mask? I don't know. But sometimes they get a puck in the eye. So they provide 10 meals to fight hunger in America with every order and have donated over 20 million meals to date.
I didn't know
Look good
that
in your
part.
shades and feel good by making an impact. If you don't love them, exchange them for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop with Shady Rays. Their team always has your back.
Wow.
Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com. Use code PAPER for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses.
What?
Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 200,000 people.
Wow.
Wow. All right. Should we get to the front page? You got any paper there?
I don't do that anymore.
Let me see
What
if
do
I
we
can
got?
find some. Hold on a second.
Let's take 23 minutes to look for. Hold on. What's this? I got a plastic wrapped rain poncho.
Oh, that's good.
You ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. It sounds like it's raining.
Extra! Extra! Read all about it! Extra!
All right, let's go. That was it. We're in the paper.
On Saturday, let's start a little heavy. An 18-year-old man toting a gun with the N-word inscribed on the barrel went to a top supermarket in Buffalo and shot 13 people, 10 of them fatally. In a screed that authorities believe was posted online before the massacre, shooter Peyton Gendron allegedly acknowledged that he had sought out the supermarket in order to kill Black people. quote, I simply became racist after I learned the truth, which is that white race is dying out and we are doomed by low birth rates and high rates of immigration.
Huh. I didn't know racism could happen that quickly. Impressive. Very impressive, Peyton.
Observers could not help but notice the broad thematic similarities between some of Gendron's ideas and ones that are routinely voiced by Fox News host Tucker Carlson, the apple-cheeked bard of white resentment. Carlson has risen from the ash heap of political punditry by expertly stoking his viewers' own fears of being culturally replaced by immigrants or other such no-goodniks whose beliefs, backgrounds, and skin tones differ from their own. So
maybe he put the N-word on the gun because it was his misguided attempt to like cover, like, oh, whoa, that's on my gun. Look, it has his name on it already. Were you kidding me?
Right.
Just a dumb racist.
I mean, where does Tucker Carlson's anger come from? Do you ever see the vitriol that comes out of this guy? This guy who has led the most privileged life known to man. Did a Mexican guy have sex with his wife? Did a black kid get his kid spot at Georgetown Country Day School? I mean, he looks like an Aryan youth whose family has bred with a Winklevoss twin, and somehow he's angry. What the fuck is that all about?
Oh no, it's the story of America right now. And so this guy was driven. It was the quote from the article was he was driven by the so-called Great Replacement theory, which falsely claims that white people are being demographically and culturally replaced by non-white immigrants and minority groups. Here's the problem I have with the Great Replacement theory. It is not happening fast enough. Honestly, replace us. White people, especially males, need to be replaced. We have fucking blown it, and that's like the kindest way I can say it. And with the most denial. It's like, yes, replace us already. We had our shot, and it did not go well over centuries. It went maybe as bad as it could go, actually.
And implicit with this whole theory is that the white male that's being replaced, that's a problem. You're exactly right. It's like, can we challenge the tenet of this thing, which is that somehow we are meant to run things?
We enslaved every stripe of human being. And then you would think, well, they probably treated white women well. No. Not at all, like not even close.
Yeah.
We blew it on every front.
Yeah. Well, so then Tucker is another story here where Tucker and his wife, Susie, asked Hunter Biden for help getting their son.
By the way, ladies, you can DM me after that little diatribe. Go ahead.
Especially minority women.
No, I got them all. I even threw white women in the mix.
So his son, Susie, and Tucker's son, whose name is Bucky, is trying to get into Georgetown, which is Hunter Biden's alma mater. So they asked Hunter Biden for help getting their son in, according to emails found on Biden's controversial laptop. Susan asked Biden if he could, quote, maybe meet up or speak to their son Buckley, and he could send you a brief resume with his interests and grades attached. The Fox News host added that their son Buckley was skilled in squash and a good fly fisherman.
Replacement theory, please, fast. Hurry, hurry, hurry.
In response, Biden agreed to draft a letter addressed to the university's president, adding, I will do anything you would like me to do. And then Tucker said, I can't thank you enough for writing the letter to Georgetown on Bucky's behalf. So nice of you. I know it'll help. Hope you're great and we can all get dinner soon. And he then went on to fucking shit all over Hunter nonstop. And he said, quote, when your dad is president, you get superpowers, Carlson said last year. Maybe Hunter Biden will invent a new vaccine next year we will be required to take. Who knows? You never know. The sky's the limit when your dad is in power. So he literally goes from flexing his power to get his son into college from a guy he criticizes for using his father.
Yes, exactly. Also, do you have to specify that Bucky is good at squash and fly fishing? All Buckies are good at squash and fly fishing.
Yeah.
How insulting. Obviously, we know that.
Yeah, there's a lot of squash rackets with Bucky monogrammed into the side of the racket.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And by the way, not a word about Kushner walking away with $100 million deal from the Saudis. That's fine. That's fine.
Replace us. Please replace us. Former child actor from Jaws named police chief on Martha's Vineyard. Jonathan Searle, who had a minor role in the 1975 blockbuster Jaws as one of the Amity pranksters who placed a fake shark fin in the panicked waters. Remember those kids?
Yeah, of course.
Has been named a police chief on the island. Searle appeared along with his brother in the Steven Spielberg film, which was set on the fictional town on Long Island, but it was filmed on the Vineyard. Searle has been on the force in the Vineyard since '86, long time, and soon after the film, actually. In 2008, Searle charged a man with disorderly conduct for, incredibly, almost exactly what he'd done in the movie, lying and telling beachgoers he'd seen a pair of great whites off the island.
I've seen a couple of great whites on that island. There's a bikini top on them.
Oh, those. I got you. Yeah. In related news, Elliot from E.T. is now a cop who chases down kids on bikes. Yeah, with aliens in their baskets. Yeah.
Okay.
You could also find him running around the woods at night with his flashlight looking for kids and aliens.
And Harrison Ford is actually crashing planes.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's life imitating art.
Oh, Spielberg, you're so prescient.
Elon Musk makes a penis joke right after alleged sexual misconduct accusation. The tech mogul was accused of exposing himself to a flight attendant aboard one of his private planes in 2016. And SpaceX later paid the woman. All right, so it was a SpaceX flight, and they paid her $250,000 to settle her sexual misconduct claim. Elon tweeted, so at one point, I guess, Elon Musk tweeted out, if I ever get in a scandal, please call it Elongate, which together spells elongate. So now, right after this accusation, Musk tweeted, finally, we get to use elongate as a scandal name. It's kind of perfect, meaning she got him hard.
Yeah, no, I love this. So now he's a comedian. He's done it all. Now he's a comedian. Good evening, folks. What has 2 hands, 2 eyes, and $250,000 in her pocket? My flight attendant, Victoria. Thank you very much. I had to pay out $250,000 to show my cock to a girl. Just to be a good guy, I threw in a tip. Thank you. After the show, I'll be selling shares in Tesla. Stop by, get a picture taken.
In a weird way, I'm surprised he's still accountable to the law because he's the closest we have to like Dr. Evil. Isn't he heading that way?
Yeah. He is.
That's what he's doing. But I did think about, all right, it's SpaceX. Now, if they were in space, technically, let's say they were going up there and somehow he's not scared enough not to sexually harass the flight attendant on a rocket. Isn't that, are earthly laws in play in space? Kind of a genuine question. And which
is that like how you can have riverboat gambling where the boat is just offshore so you can gamble?
Or the boat sails out, 2 miles to international waters?
Yeah, right.
But like, can you grab ass on the International Space Station? And then what country's laws apply? I guess it's what country you're a citizen of. But what if you grab a Russian woman's ass in space?
Right.
These are all obviously stupid questions, but I wonder technically how they'd go down.
I think you have to watch old Star Trek episodes and just follow those laws.
Well, that means you grab every ass that's in the universe, including the green chicks.
Right.
Yeah. But also in space, if I may, for the people stoned listeners, isn't the concept of relativity heightened? So like, did you just grab her ass right now? Oh, now? What's that? If there's some quark matter involved, that ass grab you just saw technically could be next week. The whole space-time geometry thing.
Yeah.
I rest my case, Your Honor.
Do you
All right.
mean the vibrating molecules in this hand made contact with the vibrating molecules in an ass that may have been vibrating at a different frequency because we're in space? So it didn't actually make contact. It passed through.
Also, why would I grab the ass of a 1,700-year-old woman? Look at her. She's
Yeah.
disgusting.
So speaking of nice asses, the
There
conservative
you
Catholic
go.
Archbishop of San Francisco said Friday that he will no longer allow U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi to receive communion because of her support for abortion rights. Archbishop
What a
Salvatore
punishment.
Cordileone. Salvatore Cordileone. He sounds like an archbishop that'll put a hit out on you. Sent a letter on April 7th and told her that she must either repudiate her support of abortion rights or stop speaking publicly about her Catholic faith. If she didn't, he would have no choice but to declare that she is not allowed to receive communion. You're not allowed to receive the wafers that have been blessed by men who have sex with your sons. You don't get that privilege.
Also, he gave her a choice. She could also stop speaking publicly about her Catholic faith. Then it's okay.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here you
Right.
go. And now you're cool. Just keep it low. Almost lie about it. Almost
Right.
lie about your faith.
Yeah, let's stop pretending that the Catholics are not getting abortion. Half the teenage girls going to church on Sunday morning had unprotected sex the night before. Those communion wafers should have Plan B in them.
Here you go. This body of Christ is going to eject the little body in your body right now. Also,
When you cross yourself, make sure you hit yourself in the stomach on the bottom half of the cross.
imagine if an alien or any rational, truly rational being was like, so wait, her punishment is that she can't eat a make-believe, a piece of food that's the make-believe body of a guy from thousands of years ago. Like, it's insanity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Total insanity.
Yeah. I know.
At least admit it. Even if you're religious, stick to your tenets, all the good you do, the charitable stuff. I get all that. But also make room, please, for the eating. I know it's symbolic, but it's crazy. And then to
cannibalism.
weaponize it.
It's cannibalism.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. All right. Oh, wait, we haven't been doing. Here we go.
All right.
New paper, new section.
Let's do some entertainment.
All right. I'm not going to spoil Ozark.
Yeah, don't spoil it because I'm about 4 episodes in right now
To the final season.
of Ozark. Yeah.
Yeah. Sophie and I watched the last 3 episodes last night. And I don't know. Then I guess I can't say anything.
They don't say anything. Well, wait.
I wasn't going to say anything.
I'll
like-
be done by next week, so we can talk about it on the next Sunday papers.
I'm not a fan of the end. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
Yeah.
The George Carlin doc, I believe, comes out today. Right.
Yesterday, well, Friday, came out Friday, and already multiple texts telling me how good it is.
Well, I was supposed to go see it. I was supposed to go to the premiere, and I drove. I was halfway to the premiere.
We're in Judd Apatow's basement.
Yes.
Where was this premiere?
It was in Hollywood. It was at a, I don't know, some theater in Hollywood. So I'm driving there and I'm looking at looking up the name of the hotel so I can go there. And I notice on the invitation, as I'm halfway to Hollywood in fucking 6 o'clock traffic on a Wednesday, that I need to show proof of a COVID test that I took today. And so I fucking turned around and I went home and I text the lady. I go, you can release my ticket because I can't come because I don't have a COVID test from today. And now I'm all the way back in Venice. And she goes, no, we have testing here. Well, then put that on the fucking invitation.
But then, like, also Dennis Gibbons took your spot.
Yeah.
He took your test and your spot.
Yeah.
So even though you're white.
So I missed.
So
it.
I saw, all right. So last night, Sophie, my daughter, and I went to see Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Oh, okay. I saw that.
You did see it.
I did see it.
All right. I am starting to believe some listeners said I'm dead inside.
Yeah.
Because here's my review. First of all, everybody involved with the movie, a lot less cocaine next time.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of everything everywhere all at once, if I'm generous, I'm going to call it some things, somewhere, sometimes. And what I really want to say is nothing, nowhere, never.
Wow.
That's my review. I felt, believe it or not, I fell asleep for 5 minutes during the movie, which
That's impossible.
Is really hard to do with that movie.
Yeah.
But it felt like, all right, if I'm going to be accurate, not high schoolers, but it felt like college film students were given the keys to everything to make a film.
Well, if people don't know about this film, I was in Hollywood.
I don't even know how to describe it.
A couple of weeks ago, and I didn't want to come home because I had to be back in town for a dinner that night. So I had like 3 hours to kill. So I looked on Fandango. What's the closest theater? What's the next movie? And I just went.
It's
And
also incredibly high rated.
And it happened to be this movie. And so I knew nothing about it going in, which you kind of should know going in, that prepare yourself to just go for the ride, which obviously you did not because you're dead inside. And yeah, and you're angry.
Oh,
and so
well, now I am.
So it took me a half an hour to wrap my head around the fact that this was, like you said, it was experimental and it
that's
was
right.
out there.
You told me that. If you didn't tell me that the first 20 minutes you were angry, I might have told Sophie I'm going to go see what's playing, through that wall in the next theater.
Because I came around. By the end of the movie, I actually was enjoying it.
No, there was an aha moment where you're like, okay, that's what this is about, right? And that's a cool message. Just without giving anything away, just really goofy and very over the top. It felt again like maybe in after schools. You know what it felt like? And I've never seen these movies. It felt like those, remember when there were like kids who were detectives, like something PI? It felt like it felt Disney-ish, this movie.
It was bit. Well, yeah, it had that Asian kind of innocence about it. I don't know what that means exactly. I just think of like the Korean movies that I've seen recently, and there's something about them that are very innocent. That people have an ultimate that there's a goodness to them. And
by giving the world COVID, yeah, right. Stick at Asian people.
But don't you want an experiment? Do you want to see the same fucking movies over and over again that Hollywood keeps shoving down our throats? This is like a Fellini movie. It was crazy.
It was not like a Fellini movie. Fellini movies are high art. This was goofy. No, there have been. This is the funny thing, though. There have been so many good, high quality Asian movies. I think it just shows how like the misguided Crazy Rich Asians, and that gets all this credit. It's like that's the worst piece of shit Asian movie.
It's terrible.
Like, please save it for art. And there's tons of it coming. Like, Drive My Car. Like all these movies are worth their salt.
Yeah.
All
right.
And well, even if they're not your thing, it's not some bombastic piece of shit. And this is not a bombastic piece of shit. Crazy Rich Asians was. This movie was just like, I didn't hate it because I got a solid 5 minutes sleep, but it was, I don't know how high rate. I usually reserve my hatred for popular things. How popular is this movie? Like right now, I'm going to go on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's going to win all the Oscars. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, it will not. Yeah. If it wins all the, forget it. I'm done.
What did Sophie think of it?
She liked it, but she was with me. We were like a little like, okay. Yeah. Oh no, I wouldn't have. I would have been a good sport if that was the. If she like really liked it, I would have kind of like last night. We cooked stir fry, and she's right out there, and I have to like be enthusiastic about her gluten-free tamari sauce compared to soy sauce, and it's fucking awful. But I'm a supportive dad who's like, yummy, this fucking ersatz soy sauce. All right, here we go. I'm going to go on to Rotten Tomatoes. What do you think? You've seen the movie.
I would say that audience reaction, it's 90%. Critics is 95. That's my guess.
Wait, what is your guess?
90 audience, 95 critics.
Jesus fucking, okay. I hate it more than ever. It's 96% critics. Of course, the audience scores lower because there's a few honest people in there who aren't racist and, pad it because it's Asian or predominantly Asian.
So what's the number?
96, 90.
Is that, what did I just say?
You didn't
I
say
said
that.
95, 90.
No, you did not.
Yes, I just said 95 critics, 90 audience.
All right. Have we done this? Like sometimes it's fun to look on IMDb. So Crazy Rich Asians is 91 and then 76 because 91% includes everyone who's terrified to criticize an all Asian movie as the piece
Jesus,
of
you
fucking
sound like
shit
Bill Maher right
that
now.
it is. Oh, all right. Sorry. You mean a smart, incisive guy with a critical skill. But here's the best. You ready? Lily Singh. I can't go into my personal relationship with the show, but you ready for this? This is one of my favorites. Lily, A Little Late with Lily Singh. It was a late night show from Lily Singh, who I think is maybe non-binary and a
It's not funny, I'll tell you that.
oh boy, non-white, non-binary. I don't have any details, so I can just get that specific about it. You ready? This is fantastic. Keep in mind how many people go here to rate it. There's a lot of positive people, you know what I mean? Her fans and all that. The critics on Rotten Tomatoes for A Little Late with Lily Singh, 82%. Average audience score, 15%.
Yeah, right.
82
Yep.
to 15.
Yep, exactly.
Chicken shit, fucking racist,
Yeah.
sexist.
I know.
critics.
Just look at whatever. I don't want to get started. Let's talk
Too late.
about
Too late.
anti-vaxxer Eric Clapton announced he has COVID.
Oh, you know what happened? I'm sorry. I took my racist Adderall.
Oh,
I mixed up my bottles. So
Okay,
now
got it.
I'm completely wired with racist views. So
Yeah.
I'll take the other one.
He has COVID. He canceled 2 shows of his tour last summer. The Q-infected musician, whose old friends no longer speak to him,
Infected.
said via Telegram that he wouldn't perform at a venue that required vaccine status. This guy's biggest hit song told everybody to put cocaine into their bodies. It literally glorified the use of an addictive drug. And how many people took cocaine because of fucking Eric Clapton? I guarantee millions.
Well, you probably were more troubled by this than I, but I remember when he successfully, finally kicked his substance abuse and he was in programs and all that. He was then the face, not only his music, but he also appeared in the ad playing his guitar to a Michelob ad.
Really?
Which seemed very misguided to me. Yeah,
Yeah.
in the I'm going to say early 90s, I think. I'll
And
probably
then
get
he
corrected on
did-
that.
And then he did some commercials for Apple. And I remember there were jokes about it that people said, why is he advertising Apple? He had a bad experience with Windows.
Jesus. All right. Well, we don't have to hit him on that.
I know. And the other big Clapton joke I remember people saying was, what do Eric Clapton and coffee have in common? They both suck without cream.
Okay, I worked in FAO. Here's a quick story. Back when Clapton was still considered God and we didn't know this much about him, and because he was already, I guess he had gone on some racist tirades or something like that, but he certainly, this is, in the 90s, this is before vaccine issues. So anyway, I'm in FAO Schwartz and I had a part-time job there one Christmas. And
You did?
Oh yeah. I think to say my Christmas card is I borrowed the wooden soldiers or the Nutcracker. I borrowed the Nutcracker's outfit and I made a funny Christmas card. My department I was mostly put in. That's where I really learned how to wrap gifts pretty well because there were beasts in the wrapping department, and they were mesmerizing to watch. But I was put in this will date me for sure. I was put in the Ninja Turtle watches section.
Oh.
And I developed a funny spiel calling them Renaissance timepieces because of, Donatello and all that shit. So anyway, whatever. So.
Wow, sounds like a good bit.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
I
wow.
fucking pushed those watches. It was amazing. People brought their kids to watch me. So this dad's walking through and Eric Clapton. Oh, I know. So Eric Clapton's there. So I'm like, I need a break because I'm going to go follow him around. So I am walking like 15 steps behind Eric Clapton, and a father and son are walking towards us. And the father freaks out and is like, you see his eyes go wide. And then they walk by and he leans down. He's like, son, one day this will mean something to you. You just walked by this amazing musician, Eric Clapton. And the son goes, I heard Michael Jackson was in here yesterday, which was true. Michael Jackson had the whole store shut down.
Oh, no shit.
So he could buy gifts for his victims. And so the dad, it was very funny. The dad grabs both arms on his son and he goes, one day you will realize how much better that man we just walked by is than Michael Jackson. Like it was the funniest father-son moment. And it had nothing to do with like the pedophilia. It was basically like rock versus disco. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's do some Florida Man.
Florida Man. All right. It's a little long. I should have.
You going to crinkle something there?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, here we go. All right. Florida Man. This is the headline. This is why I grabbed it. Florida man cooked alive after deputies' taser sparks explosion at gas station.
That kind of sums it all up. You almost don't need to read the story. Like, got it. Got it.
You know what? I won't because I'm starting to lose my voice. But basically, the deputy, they chased this guy who was on motorcycle, flipping people off, right? Like and running every red light, going in the opposite lane. A real Florida douchebag.
Popping wheelies.
And then he pulls into a gas station. That's where they catch him. They tackle him there while he was filling his bike. Gas spills everywhere. And I guess another guy, anyway, a taser was out. And the officer, knowingly, wait, let me find that part. I'm trying to remember what he said to him. Goes, he picked up a taser that was discarded after another officer deployed it near the flammable gasoline. He said, kill the pump, there's gas. And then he grabbed a taser and he goes, you're about to get tased again, dude. And knowing that all the gas was everywhere, and then he did it. And then one line in the article, which I loved, was, while being cooked alive, Mr. Barretto sustained third-degree burns. While being cooked alive is a literal quote in the story. I mean, Florida, even
that's
for
a fucking gangster move, man. Did he see he had gas on him and tase him and then turn around and walk in slow motion towards the camera?
Right, exactly. Just my job's done here. But also, you have to you basically explode also. The poor guy is still in the hospital 10 weeks later, by the way.
I think so is the deputy. I think the deputy got lit on fire also. The deputy also suffered burns and other deputies were injured. Yeah, I don't know if he got it as bad as this guy did, but
crazy.
Yeah, that's fucking great.
Love it, Florida. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Let's do some international news.
Oh, yeah, I got a section right here.
Vladimir Putin has undergone a successful surgical procedure to remove fluid from his abdomen, according to a Russian opposition source.
Oh.
Didn't Rod Stewart have that surgery in the 80s?
Yeah, it was pretty popular back then. This might be different, maybe not.
Does Putin also have a gerbil up his ass?
Those two stories, I mean, pre-internet. There was No way to talk
Right.
to a kid in the next town at all. Zero.
Right.
And yet everyone knew those stories.
Yep. And I remember it was 18
Oh,
milligrams of semen. That was what made it sell, is that there was a specific amount of semen that was found in his belly.
Hold on. Hold everything. I just looked down and my thing, we can let people hear this. They'll hear how fucked I am. It says card full.
Uh-oh.
And it turned off.
Oh, boy.
So let me go into a folder. God damn it. I have to erase one, right? So here we go. I don't know how to do this.
I think
Do you know how to go in and erase a file?
I think you have to put the SD card into your laptop and delete it from that. I don't know if you can do it from your. You know what we can do? We can just use the audio from the Zoom call for this week's.
Okay, well, while you're doing that, I'm actually pretty good at that part. So I have my adapter here. I'll put it. All right, so you go ahead about Putin.
Okay. So that's it. It was just a quick joke.
Oh, God damn you.
Now we go.
All right, here it is. Here it is. Boom. So good. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to erase you. You're gone. Oh, God. Hold on. A lot of craziness. There go. I'm going to erase 2. That'll free up space. Wow. This audio takes up a lot of room. I'm sure listeners are thrilled with
That's
that.
a lot of files on an audio card to fill it up.
I know, and it's a big audio card. I'm going to erase 3 just to be safe.
Okay.
All right, here. Look at me erasing all this gold. Shouldn't I be sending it to the podcast Hall of Fame? All right, here we go. Here we go. We're going to be back up. I don't know when it turned off. That was weird. I normally don't even look down there. All right. And we are almost back, sir. What else is going on? You want to read something?
You've got this audio from Zoom will be lower quality, but just go with it. That's what Chris Denman said.
Oh, now it's still saying cards full.
All right, we'll just use the audio from the Zoom call. It'll be fine.
No, I'm going to take 46 minutes to problem solve this. Hold on. I turned it off. I'm turning it on again. This is the last try. Otherwise, I'll just keep says card full. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
All right. Whatever.
These cards are tricky. Let's go
tricky, man.
Let's go to your sports story.
Oh, no, and I don't have good quality audio. Anyway, I saw this week. Yeah, I'm not that into sports, right? But I saw this week that Roger Angel died. He's the elegant and thoughtful baseball writer who was widely considered among the best America has produced. He died in his home in Manhattan, which I thought was cool. He was still in Manhattan, still went to about 40 games a year, baseball games. And I put in some quotes he had, which were fantastic.
He was 101, you forgot to mention.
Yeah, 101 years old.
So he was the fucking last guy out of the stadium at the end of the game.
Oh, the Boston Red Sox catcher Carlton Fisk came out of his crotch, Mr. Angel wrote, like, quote, an aluminum extension ladder stretching for the house eaves. The Baltimore Oriole relief pitcher Dick Hall pitched, quote, with an awkward sideways motion that suggests a man feeling under his bed for a lost collar stud. Mr. Angel described Willie Mays chasing down a ball hit to deep center field as, quote, running so hard and so far that the ball itself seems to stop in the air and wait for him.
Wow, I like that.
Also funny, he goes, he once referred to Ron Darling as, quote, the best right-handed part Chinese Yale history major among the Mets starters. And the tone of his baseball writing, he once said, was inspired by a John Updike article written in 1960 about Ted Williams' final game at Fenway Park in Boston. Quote, my own baseball writing was still 2 years away when I read Hub Fans Bid Kid Adieu, Mr. Angel wrote. And though it took me a while to become aware of it, John Updike had already supplied my tone while also seeming to invite me to try for a good sentence now and then down the line. So listen, if you'll humor me, this is 3 minutes, but this is what I'll tell you. And because sometimes we have these writers and writer wannabes listening. And I'll just say this. I'm not into baseball, as you know, and I'm certainly not into the Red Sox. And I was working at HBO, and I went over to the New York Public Library to kill time one lunch hour. And there was an exhibit on baseball. And Roger Angel, that's why I recognize his name and his writing. But it also had this framed New Yorker with this Updike article. And I got emotional in the New York Public Library reading about a subject I really don't care about, but it was just like one of those where I'm like, I can't believe how great this guy is with words. It was like truly beautiful. And you and I both know Updike, but I had never been exposed to this. And so he was writing about Updike as a kid, went to Ted Williams' last game at Fenway. And it was this gloomy day with fog. It was almost like, so the last thing I'll say before I read it is, if you see The Natural and that home run in The Natural, it is essentially based on, it is, I think, literally based on Ted Williams' last at bat. And if you think the Natural, that scene where he hits Hobbs or whatever, hits that home run, is over the top, it is not, it doesn't even compare to the real world last at bat of Ted Williams. It is so over the top, it's crazy. So anyway, I'll just read it to you. And in the spirit of, this is like fucking punk rock, how moving and strong this writing is. The afternoon grew so glowering that in the 6th inning, the arc lights were turned on, always a wan sight in the daytime, like the burning headlights of a funeral procession. Aided by the gloom, Fisher was slicing through the Sox rookies, and Williams did not come to bat in the 7th. He was second up in the 8th. This was almost certainly his last time to come to the plate in Fenway Park, and instead of merely cheering, as we had at his previous appearances, we stood, all of us, stood and applauded. Have you ever heard applause in a ballpark? Just applause, no calling, no whistling, just an ocean of hand claps, minute after minute, burst after burst, crowding and running together in contentious succession like the pushes of surf at the edge of the sand. It seemed to renew itself out of a shifting set of memories as the kid, the Marine, the veteran of feuds and failures and injuries, the friend of children, and the enduring old pro evolved down the bright tunnel of 21 summers toward this moment. At last, the umpire signaled for Fisher to pitch. With the other players, he had been frozen in position. Only Williams had moved during the ovation, switching his hat impatiently, ignoring everything except his cherished task. Fisher wound up, and the applause sank into a hush. Understand that we were a crowd of rational people. We knew that a home run cannot be produced at will. The right pitch must be perfectly met, and luck must ride the ball. A brave effort fail. The air was soggy. The season was exhausted. Nevertheless, there will always lurk around a corner in a pocket of our knowledge of the odds an indefensible hope. And this was one of the times, which you now and then find in sports, when a density of expectation hangs in the air and plucks an event out of the future. Fisher, after his unsettling wait, was wide with the first pitch. He put the second one over, and Williams swung mightily and missed. The crowd grunted, seeing that classic swing, so long and smooth and quick, exposed, naked in its failure. Fisher threw the third time. Williams swung again, and there it was. The ball climbed on a diagonal line into the vast volume of air over center field. From my angle behind third base, the ball seemed less an object in flight than the tip of a towering, motionless construct, like the Eiffel Tower or the Tappan Zee Bridge. It was in the books while it was still in the sky. Like a feather caught in a vortex, Williams ran around the square of bases at the center of our beseeching screaming. He ran as he always ran out home runs, hurriedly, unsmiling, head down, as if our praise were a storm of rain to get out of. He did not tip his cap, though we thumped, wept, and chanted, "We want Ted," for minutes after he hit in the dugout. He did not come back. Our noise for some seconds passed beyond excitement into a kind of immense open anguish, a wailing, a cry to be saved. But immortality is non-transferable. The papers said that the other players and even the umpires on the field begged him to come out and acknowledge us in some way, but he never had, and he did not now. Gods do not answer letters. So that was it.
That's amazing.
It's fucking
John Updike was, I mean, you talk about trying to occasionally write a perfect sentence. That is just a collection of beautiful, eloquent, evocative sentences all packed together.
that sentence about basically inevitability. Sometimes there's a collective thing that plucks a moment out of the future.
Yeah. What
It's
a line.
fucking crazy.
Yeah. That's
And
brilliant.
I'm not a Ted Williams guy. I'm not a baseball guy, but he summed up magical moments, not only in sports, but in life, where it's like, it has to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that Ted Williams didn't come out.
He didn't
It's the
come out.
greatest thing
I
ever.
remember when I was a writer on the Man Show, we did a sketch that they cast me in, and I played Ted Williams, but I was frozen Ted Williams. They brought me out on
Right.
a push cart, and I was in a block of ice, and you could just see my face. And all I
That's
did was shit on
amazing.
Joe Rogan and Stanhope.
And listen, we'll get letters because it's the Ted Williams story. At least 2 tours of duty as a Marine in his prime.
No, and they
Leaving
said when he tested to become a fighter pilot, he broke every record that had ever been set by a Navy guy with
Marine,
a Marine with the controls.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, like crazy legend. And that swing, like you and I talk about, I don't watch golf, but it's like a beautiful swing is a beautiful swing, and you see it a mile away. Like if there's
Yeah.
some guy in the next fairway, and that Ted Williams baseball swing, good Lord, it was
Yeah.
so beautiful.
Right. Reggie Jackson had one.
Yeah, not as beautiful, not the splendid splinter.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for indulging me, but I remember being a kid, and so this is another piece of advice. I got rocked. And if you're rocked by something and you're in your 20s or you're a teenager, maybe you're listening to this now, it doesn't matter what it is. You could be rocked literally by a pair of pants that are so stylish. I would listen to that. I would listen to that calling, that there's probably some way to make a living in that area that rocked you. And so I wish I had listened to more, I wish I had all of a sudden gotten like more confidence that I should go into writing, and I should immediately start writing dick jokes and follow.
And
that.
someday I'll
Oh.
create a show where a cocky young surfer will come out and make fun of things on the internet.
See, thank you, John Updike.
I remember reading short stories by John Updike when I was in high school, and he is definitely one of the reasons why I became an English major. He was just incredible. All the Rabbit books. Did you read any of the Rabbit books?
Run Rabbit. What is it? Rabbit?
Yeah,
Is
Run
French?
Rabbit.
Yeah.
I mean, just amazing. All right, let's get to this day in history. Give me a crinkle.
Oh, yeah, sure. Here it is.
Uh, 1958, May 22nd, Jerry Lee Lewis drops a bombshell in London. The arrival in the UK of one of the biggest figures in rock and roll was looked forward to with great anticipation. Nowhere in the world were the teenage fans of the raucous music coming out of America more enthusiastic than they were in England. And the coming tour of the great Jerry Lee Lewis promised to be a rousing success. Whole lot of shaking going on. Great balls of fire. They were massive. Let's see. He had 27 dates booked. There was one problem. Unbeknownst to the British public, and the organizers of the coming tour, Jerry Lee Lewis, would be traveling to England as a newly married man. Aww. With his
It's
pretty
sweet.
young wife in tow.
Of
Just
course.
how young that wife really was would be revealed on this day in 1958 when Jerry Lee, the Killer Lewis, arrived at Heathrow with his new child bride.
Oh, well, that's a new term in this romantic
What?
story.
Child and bride together. It was an inquisitive reporter for the Daily Mail named Paul Tanfeld who unwittingly broke the scandal when he inquired as to the identity of an especially young woman he'd spotted in the. She said, "I'm Myra, Jerry's wife." And then he said, "How old
And
is
I
Myra?"
fly for a discounted rate because I'm a child.
It was at this point that Jerry Lee, how old is Myra? It was at this point Jerry Lee must have cottoned to the fact that the rest of the world might take a somewhat skeptical view of his third marriage because the answer he gave was a lie. 15. Myra Gale was actually only 13 years old.
Oh my God. If you're going to lie, at least
Go-
16. At
Go
least 16.
Go 16.
I don't even know. That feels obviously wrong.
There were other details, such as the fact that she was Jerry Lee's first cousin.
All
that
right,
the
then it's
pair-
okay.
And that the pair had married 5 months before his divorce from his second wife was made official. So this basically began his fall. Over the coming week, the killer tried to go on with business as usual, but his first 3 shows drew meager audiences, and those who did buy tickets showered him with booze and catcalls. When the ranked chain of theaters canceled the rest of his dates, and his fashionable Mayfair hotel encouraged him to seek lodgings elsewhere, Jerry Lee left the UK less than a week after his dramatic arrival. Back home, he would face a blacklisting from which his career would never fully recover.
Man.
That's rock and roll, baby. 13. I mean, 13. And he was what,
Yeah.
like 40 at the time?
I don't know. And I wonder if that was his last wife. I'm not sure.
No, he had like 6 wives, I think.
Well, she probably became a disgusting pig at 19 that he was not attracted to in any way.
Oh, this
Look at you.
This old 15-year-old. I mean, I can't.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, she's
Ugh.
gross. She hit puberty. She has hair on her vagina.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not into cougars. Get out of here, you fucking 17-year-old.
Jesus.
That's the
Chris,
line.
you want to look up how old he was and, stuff like that?
Why am I still talking into a mic?
Yeah, why am I talking in a mic? I don't need to be in a mic either. We're not using it.
Why? What do you mean? You're not going to use yours? No,
you
use
can only-
yours.
No, you can't. You can't just use one. You have to use both, or else just the Zoom from the
This
audio
is
from
why
the
I
Zoom
would
call.
continue to use yours, because your shitty connection, they may need backup.
All right, I'll do it just in case.
And I'm going to send mine. And then that's why I was very open about when it went dead, because the listeners will notice the shift. Poor Key.
There's a picture of me as frozen Ted Williams. We'll put that up on the show.
Oh, wow.
And then, all right, so let's do an obituary. Where's all the letters to the editor? We don't have any letters to the editor today?
You tell me, Captain.
Oh, I know. I put them in another document. Hold on.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Well, we kind of got letters in a way. Boy, I hope my audio is okay here because of your connection.
All right. Let's go down to letters. Oh, well, there was some other corrections I forgot to get to because they were in this other document.
Oh,
The reason why the media always uses 3 names with a killer is to avoid confusion with other people who would have the same first name and last name. And in order to avoid that collateral damage, confusion on.
I think we did that one.
Okay, we did that one. Okay. It's Boston Common,
By the way, Jerry Lee Lewis,
right?
criminally young wife.
It's Boston Common, no S at the end, not Boston
true.
Commons. Okay.
I read in that Martha's Vineyard story where he's actually a police chief in Oak Bluffs, but even the article I read had it as Oaks Bluff. Yeah. So
Hey, Greg, in Korea, it wasn't the frozen dozen, it was the frozen chosen. Marines from the winter battle at the Chosin Reservoir, in which the Marines and their allies were surrounded by the Chinese. That was the fight that Mary Fitzgerald's father was in Korea.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then for letters, a guy named Scott Fluker said, hey, Fitzdog, I know a football team that's perfectly suited to your current wardrobe. This is a really fierce competition in Australia between two states where rugby league is number one. New South Wales Blues versus Queensland Maroons. Love the crowd, laugh on. All right.
Yeah, maroon. Remember there was like a Bugs Bunny where I guess a maroon is like a buffoon?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So long, Screwy. See you in St. Louis. I remember he said that once.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mike, you seem obsessed over the literal meaning of ASAP, insisting that it is not as urgent as most people interpret it to be. However, the way I see it, if you are given an order to do something as soon as possible, you should do it right now, unless it's impossible, right? Love the show, Bob.
Then say I'll do it now.
There you go.
Yeah. There's a lot of conditions on as soon as possible. Define whatever. I'm falling asleep. Oh, wow. I took the wrong Adderall, or maybe all that racist stuff is just exhausting.
And
because I mean it.
In last week's episode, Gibbons told a joke about scoring some tickets to see the Judd instead of
Wasn't my joke, but go ahead. I did say it.
And it reminded me of an interview I heard on NPR years ago. Robert Siegel, the former editor of The Onion, was being interviewed by Terry Gross. She asked if there were any articles that The Onion found too controversial to publish, and there was just one. Shortly after 9/11, they had an article with the headline, "America Stronger Than Ever, Say Quadragon Officials."
I remember reading that, though, at the time, so I'm confused. I mean, obviously, this guy knows what he's doing. He's writing a letter to us, and it was said in that interview. Maybe they delayed it a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Chris Dillman, why don't you follow up with us and tell us if that's real? All right, now let's get to obituaries.
And that's all, folks.
Oh,
Rosemary Trapp. Does that name sound familiar? Whose Austrian
I know there's
family,
a famous Trapp family.
The Von Trapps, was made famous in the musical and beloved movie The Sound of Music. She has died.
Let me guess
93.
where. I don't have it in front of me.
Okay.
But I do know, in going up and seeing Jack and all those guys at University of Vermont, the Von Trapps, a lot of them settled in Sugarbush or Stowe, Vermont.
Morrisville, Vermont. The Trapp Family Lodge announced her brother Johannes is president of the Stowe Resorts.
Bingo.
So
why wouldn't they go to the West where they have Alp-like snow instead of the most frozen, hard ice of Vermont?
Yeah.
But anyway.
Rosemary was the first daughter of Austrian naval captain George von Trapp and Maria von Trapp. Blah, blah, blah. The family escaped from Nazi-occupied Austria in 1938 and performed singing tours throughout Europe and America. They settled in Vermont in the early 1940s and opened a ski lodge in Stowe. They fucking opened Stowe.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yep. Totally.
Wow.
And it had all the touches, from Austria and all that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And it was cool. There was dinner theater where Nazis would run in and shoot at people.
The Sound of Music was based loosely on a 1949 book by Maria von Trapp. They had 7 children.
I am 13, going on 15.
I can't tour with Jerry Lee.
Right.
So let's go to the funnies. Give me a crinkle.
Here's your crinkle right here. Oh, wait. Sorry, I have to do it on this mic now. Hold on. That was a racket.
All right. So I look at here's a look how the sausage is made. When I do the comics every week, I look at, there's a site called ArcMax, and they show the last week of cartoons of each comic strip. They give you a week to look at. Right. I looked at Blondie, and every fucking strip had only Dagwood in it. It was Dagwood at work. It was Dagwood at the diner. It was Dagwood carpooling. There wasn't a fucking Blondie comic in the week. Are you fucking kidding me?
Maybe she couldn't find an expensive outfit. That's all she wears. Poor Dagwood has to work his ass off. So that's why he's in the strips.
Or she finally fucking grew a pair and left him. Maybe she's got a condo on the outside of whatever town they live in.
Good riddance. He'd be better without her.
Yeah, right. How dare you? So anyway, we're going to settle on a few Lockhorns. Lockhorns were on fire this week. And, you know, I'm supposed to talk to Bunny, who writes the strip. She agreed to come on, but I have to follow up, and people keep asking me when she's going to be on.
Yeah, including me.
All right, here's the first one. They're at D. Pullman, marriage counselor, and they're sitting at his desk, and Leroy is explaining, underneath it all, Loretta and I both want the same thing, to control my life.
Very good.
On the next one, Leroy's walking out the door with a tackle box and a rod, and Loretta's talking to her friend, and she goes, teach a man to fish, and he'll think he's self-taught. That's
nice, clever. Nice, sure.
And now they're at a cocktail party, and Leroy's talking to some gentlemen. Loretta's talking to her friend, and she says they're listening to a blockhead trying to explain blockchain.
Way ahead of its time, from 2005. Incredible.
Right.
Actually, it's from May of 2019.
Yeah.
I don't think blockchain was thrown around that much then.
No,
all right.
Yeah. All right, Mike, you got a comic for us?
I got my big book of Charles Adams. Tons of marriage, kind of like the Lockhorns. He was doing the Lockhorns before the Lockhorns. But I like this one. And again, so Far Side. But this one was two explorers in a cave, and they're looking at the cave drawing, and one of them's holding a flashlight, and the other one reaches up and touches the cave drawing and says, yup, still wet. And then in the background, you see this like Cro-Magnon guy peering in, about to come into where they found his fresh cave painting. So I love those. Like that one reminds me of like the Far Side, where, because he also did a lot of campsites with like, you know, African explorers and all that stuff, old school explorers. And the Far Side one was, it's a totally torn up, destroyed campsite. And they're piecing together like his journal, and they have the torn pages. And it was like, it was something like, the primates, the apes exhibit what we think is a good sense of humor. Tomorrow we'll try the buzzer handshake on them. So funny and dark.
All right, well, listen, we pulled it off. It's Sunday for you guys. Enjoy your Sunday.
Maybe we pulled it off with my audio. I apologize to everybody.
Well, you know, you gotta, I have apparently 175 hours left on my card.
What? I didn't know you could read that.
Yeah, the bottom right corner of it tells you how many minutes and hours you have left.
You and Chris are going to tell me how to dump all this gold and free up the card.
No, you're going to buy a new card. They cost like $20.
Nah. All right, anyway.
All right, Mike, have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too.
We want to
Good luck there. And
we want to thank Midcoast Media. I'm in Tacoma and selling a lot of tickets. I got to thank you guys for coming out, by the way. Since the pandemic kind of like slowed down in February, big uptick in people coming out to shows. It's been nice to see some sold out shows. I get bonuses when it sells out. So tell your friends and come on out. And thank you for the support. And thank you to Midcoast Media. Key, Chris, Beth, you're awesome. And
thank you, everybody. All righty. Go see Nothing, Nowhere, No Time. Go see that movie if you want.
And watch Ozark, because we're going to talk about it next week.
Oh, yeah. Catch up on Ozark. We will talk about it next week. I'm angry about it. Okay.
Sounds good.
Take it, Ish.
Take it, Ish.
Turn down your volume and get ready to be assaulted with the most offensive, opinionated, comedic relief of this week's top stories from around the world. And now, your ball-breaking laugh masters, Greg and Mike.
Hey,
Wait,
everybody.
yeah, but all right, okay, go ahead. Here we go.
Greg, what's it like being a 54-year-old rageaholic in a 15-year-old trans girl's body?
That shit was gold. Here it comes.